Hello everyone, my name is Łukasz Niedośpiał and I'm product manager of the solutions of the company OpenText, which means I'm the product manager of Carbonite and WebRoot. Today on this webinar with me, I have a co-host, which is Błażej Długopolski, our pre-sales engineer from all of those two solutions. Today I would like to speak to you about ransomware, and this ransomware as one of the main threats at the end of 2020 and beginning of 2021. So some say ransomware is in decline. Others say it is becoming more sophisticated. Despite awareness of the threat, it is not going away, and ransomware remains one of the most popular types of malware. And it's said to be a million or even billion-dollar industry. An illegal one, of course. Why this is happening? So, in the first quarter of financial year 2020, ransomware attacks have increased drastically, primarily due to the home office mode brought to us by the pandemic of COVID-19. Analysts show that the main reason of this increase is the lack of adequate cybersecurity measures during this type of work. Compared to previous years, the growth rate of in 2020 is highest to the chaos that was created by cyber criminals. Attackers have launched multiple attacks, one after another, to infiltrate companies and steal their data. Moreover, many ransomware families have perfected their skills to steal sensitive data from various sectors such as banking, financial, or governments. Ransomware attacks pose a huge threat to all kinds of organizations, regardless of the size, all around the world. Here on the slides, we have a few paths of how how ransomware could enter your infrastructure. We have three main types of attack. It's a malicious email attachment, or through an infected pen drive, or by malicious entering by malicious websites. What's happening after that? Our unaware user is infected by ransomware. All of our data on the PCs and networks are locked, and then ransom demand to unlock our data is shown on our equipment. We have to be honest, we have few types of ransomware. The first one is the easier one, this the screen locker. This malware blocks user access to the device by locking the screen. This is quite annoying, but it's possible to get rid of this malware on your own by the victim, if the victim has enough technical knowledge or has the right antivirus package. The second one, the most, I think it's the most common now, ransomware attack is the crypto ransomware. The crypto ransomware uses the same type of encryption as a software protecting bank transactions or military communication. Files are encrypted using the AES 256 algorithm. So in reality, the data is unrecoverable unless you're prepared for that kind of attack. Examples of this time of ransomware are, for example, DJVU or Wannacry or Phobos. Those are the almost anyone all around the world heard of those kind of attacks. I will show you the example how the Wannacry struck the global market. So in 2017, in May, the global Wannacry attack occurred, after which everyone had already heard and understand the meaning of ransomware. It can be said that the new kind of malware was a combination of two well-known techniques of attacks: encryption of disk contents, like a typical crypt locker, plus self-spreading virus across our networks or computers, like a typical worm, which was exploiting the vulnerabilities of our infrastructure. In this concrete case, the Wannacry searched the vulnerability of Microsoft Server message block. So to be safe, you always have to check your vulnerabilities. Are you full protect, and if there is none in your infrastructure. The third kind of threat of ransomware is the most dangerous. The most dangerous is disk encryptor. This virus encrypts everything on your disk. This means that you won't even be able to boot your system. If you don't have a backup of your data, you will only have two solutions left: to contact a specialist, which is the reasonable one, or to pay the ransom, which is not a good one, because you are giving the upper hand to the cyber criminals, and you feeding them with the money. So in previous years, the ransomware attack patterns change year over year. But if we are looking month to month, it's very only slightly. When attackers find a cost-efficient methods to penetrate large populations of companies, they repeatedly exploit these avenues until they dry up. In the past we have only we seen only mild shifts in attack patterns among the top three types of ransomware. At the lower end of the market, Dharma continued to exploit compromised RDP credentials. These attacks have become so commoditized that non-technical attackers can easily carry them out with proper guidance, often from the generic one-pager instruction how to do a ransom. At the top end of the market, the new kind of threat showed. To be honest, it was the first shift in that kind of attacks. It was we are calling that kind of attack ransomware as a service, and this kind of attacks was presented to us by the threat of Sodin no Kibi. That was the first ransomware which was provided to a user, not hackers, but just a typical user who wants to earn money as a service. As just we provide cyber security, the cyber criminals provide the ways and the means to take the to attack our infrastructure. So criminals noted that attacks became unprofitable as a victim did not pay the ransom. On the other hand, constantly patching malicious code is a cost. So at one point, one of the malware, Grand Grab, which was an advanced Trojan horse, evolved to this sorry, it's a hard word for me, Sodin no Kibi threat, and that's how the new generation of ransomware started. Here is the statistics of the most reported ransomware strains in second quarter of 2020. Okay. So why those ransomware attacks are still popular? An analysis known an analysis of those known attacks from 2020 shows that there are 67 known vulnerabilities that criminals use to break security, elevate privileges, and propagate malware through internal infrastructure. Between January 2020 and the 25th September of last year, over 700 victims of such attacks were found, and 17 groups of cyber criminals were registered. These groups are associated with particular malware families and are that is for your knowledge: Maze, Sodinokibi, Netwalker, Wasted Locker, Ragnar Locker, and, for example, Darkside or Avadon. Each of this group publish its list of victims along with the information on the stage of the negotiations. The best known victims of that kind of attacks were Garmin, which were attacked by the Wasted Locker, and the Wasted Locker confirmed that Garmin paid over $10 million ransom. Banco Estado Chile were attacked by the Sodinokibi malware. The known camera vendor Canon in USA was attacked by Maze, and Orange and the Volkswagen Group. So you can see that those attacks are aimed on any kind of customer, low, small, and big, and enterprise, just like, for example, Volkswagen Group. In the third quarter of the last year, the number of ransomware attacks increased globally from 40% to almost 200 million instances. In the US alone, the number of the attacks increased over 139% year over year and caused very, very large of the losses in the budgets of the companies. Every ransomware attacks every 11 seconds. Over the past few months, we have seen a whole new arsenal of threats. The fear of the unknown, the massive shift to remote working, and the record high level of misinformation resulting from the outbreak of this pandemic we were saying at the beginning, immediately spurred to the creativity of cyber criminals. This has resulted in an increase of the number of threats. However, the most dangerous threat is still ransomware, which, according to the specialist research, is feared by nearly 80% of the businesses surveyed. It is estimated that the ransomware strike, as I mentioned, every 11 seconds in this year, and the global loss in this year could be could reach even $20 billion. That compares to in 2015 you see $325 million. That's a huge progress for the cyber criminals. So we have few stats here, how the projection show how the average amount of ransom will be paid to the cyber criminals. And in 2021, the statistics shows that companies will pay over $6,500 of ransom, and average average cost of downtime cost, but that kind of attacks is it's bigger than that ransom that is paid. It's over $380,000, and it's just average cost. We have to also pinpoint that all of these operating systems are targeted by this ransomware. Major attacks are still on Windows, but Mac OS or Android or iOS are not safe anymore. I have prepared few example of recent attacks which occurred here in Poland and globally in Europe. You probably heard of one of those attacks. It's one of the biggest companies in Poland, which is touching the IT area. I'm talking about CD Projekt Red. So at the beginning of the February, CD Projekt, one of the most famous Polish companies in the world, fell victim to a ransom attack. How this attack happened, we probably will never find out because of the company security and secrecies. But what we know, I can tell you. On the 8th of February, the intruder launched software which encrypted the data on some of the company's servers. The attacker left a note in which he demanded a ransom, and the information that before the data was encrypted, some of it was stolen. And if that demand will not be met, the demand of ransom, those data which were stolen will be leaked out and sold on the dark web. The statement says that nothing was the statement of the CD Projekt says that nothing was lost because the company makes regular backups and has started restoring already the data from the backups. The company has not decided to negotiate with the criminals. On the contrary, it had disclosed their note and assumes that any data has been stolen, that it can be disclosed. So that actually is a good behavior. We don't want to pay the cyber criminals the fees and the ransoms because we always have to be prepared for that kind of attacks. In this concrete example, the attacker didn't show the part of the claimed possessed data as the groups I mentioned before, for example, like abandoned. He didn't leak the partial information, so we cannot be sure that those data were actually stolen. And that was the behavior of the CD Projekt. We have backups. We are not afraid of this ransom. Everything is under control from our side. In Poland, in the same month, we have two other major ransom attacks. One was in Krakow, which was a concern which touched our governmental unit, and in that case, also the ransom wasn't paid. Here, the magistrate used the police and special forces, CBA, Central Security Agency to fight these criminals. So how this action finished, we don't know yet. But here they also were prepared for that kind of attack, and they started to recover from backups. We have another way of the handling, and the third part here is not also pays the ransom, but the attacker in another magistrate had to allocate the budget from one investigations to pay the specialist to do the encryption, because it was the disk encryptor attack on the environment. So they weren't prepared, and they had to pay huge amount, almost just over just over 500,000 zlotys of the fee. And that kind of attacks are in 2020 and at the beginning of 2021 still occurring all across the Europe. And I can imagine that if you search right in your countries, you will find the attacks similar to those happen in Poland, or similar to those which are occurring all around the world. So how I will just go once more now through the ways of the attackers. The attackers search now for the vulnerabilities in our infrastructure, and they don't encrypt our data at once. They steal part of it to have the leverage in the future negotiations for the ransom. So first they steal part of your information, and then they encrypt your data just to force you to pay this ransom. So I prepared few best practices how to best be prepared to that kind of attack. So you always want to keep your antivirus software up to date. Ransomware is often ignored by SMBs, but there are cheap ways to detect suspicious emails, and we actually, with the web root, Bright Cloud real-time anti-phishing service can help you with that. You always have to take advantage of attack detection technologies, and you have to predict how those forms of attacks could go, and you have to follow these tools and use vulnerability analysis tools to be prepared and to patch those vulnerabilities as soon as you can. You have to use email filtering and content scanning tools as I wrote here, these tools are the easiest way to stop users from clicking malfunctioning ransomware codes or links. And you also have to use automated incident response tools. And in the second part, the bright part, probably Blażej will show you a few of those tricks, how to use a web root in your advantage. You always have to possess a recovery plan. This plan will in future help this written strategy will help you go through that kind of incidents more smoothly. It's a written plan which you will provide you step by step what to do. You have to have an effective backup procedure implemented in your locations. So in case some unaware employee will, for example, be caught in some link or malware attack with ransomware, that you can do this step back and recover your lost data and be safe, just like those companies I mentioned, like CD Projekt. You don't want, and you don't. you don't want to pay ransom, and you shouldn't pay the ransoms. And security experts in law enforce that if you pay that if you feed those cyber criminals with money, those cyber attacks will still occur, and you will probably be their still next victim in the future when the attack will change, because you were the person who paid the ransom. And also you want to and you need to train your employees against ransomware attacks. We with Webroot actually possess in our and you will see in the console that we have that kind of training in our management console and in our solution for Webroot. And as you see, with those three product lines, endpoint protection, DNS protection, and security awareness training, you can be prepared, if not ready for the attacks. If you want to be ready, and just look on our website or contact us. We will show you gladly how the Webroot works, or Carbonite for that instance with its backup. And we will gladly help you with in all kind of businesses, because Webroot and Carbonite exist in Bacotech and in our daughter company Csoft as a MSP solution for a managed services provider. So you actually can provide that kind of protection to the smaller tenants. And in this part, I will give microphone to Błażej, who will show you how the console in Webroot looks and how you can be safe from ransomware and other attacks. Błażej, I give you the microphone.
Yes, thank you, Lukasz. Hello, everyone. My name is Błażej Długopolski. As Lukasz mentioned before, I'm the main process engineer guy from the Bacotech in the Webroot solutions. So without any late, let's go straight to the console. I will share my screen right now so you can see it. I hope everything works fine. As you can see, this is the global console for the partner or for the global administration on the Webroot GSM consoles. What can we see here is the sites. So the sites are mostly the customer's company. So as you can see, the Bacotech Lab, like the Błażej PC, it's my PC actually, but the website, it's like the names of the company that will be in our console. We can of course manage it by our global console. So we are the global administration, but we will talk on this webinar about the sites configuration. So after we create the sites, we can normally make a new admin for this site. And after that, when we log in, we won't see the global console that is for the partner. We will see only the site that we have access to. So let's say my company is Błażej PC. I know it's not the best way to name your company, but this is my lab environment. The first thing we see is, of course, the status of our endpoint environment, like the encountering freeze last 7 days, the spread version of the agent. This is one of the most important things that we want to keep our agents up to date, and every other encountering threats last 7 days. If something happens, of course, this color here will change from green to red, and we'll see how many endpoints needs the attention. It can be threat, it can be virus, malware, anything that can be dangerous for our environment and our devices. After that, we have the policies. The white policies is the policies created by ourselves, but the blue one is the global policy that are from our global console. We can't configure this, but if you want to like use it as a template, we can of course copy this global console to our console, so on our site console, and change it manually from this site. The most important options and configuration through our Webroot agent, I will mention right now. If you need like help with any configuration here, any categories, you can easily click the help button. You will get forwarded to the webroot PDF sites or TXT sites when you have every category with the description what it does and how can help you protect your environment. So yeah, let's go straight to the most important things. In the basic configuration, of course, we have the power to hide or show the webroot in our system. By that, I mean a shortcut on the desktop, tray icon in the start menu, in the add remove programs. So if we don't want our employees to see that they're protected the webroot, so don't mind it, we can hide everywhere. They don't even know that they are protected by webroot. And after that, we have poll interval, how often webroot will refresh the configuration. We can start with the 15 minutes to the daily. Daily is the maximum. So if we change anything in our policy, we need to wait this amount of time so the agent will refresh on the sites. But of course, we can refresh it manually from the agent site locally. Just click right on the webroot and refresh the configuration. After that, we have the scan schedule. This is not that much important configuration to explain because you normally how often you want to scan make, at which time, if you want to scan on boot up if the computer is off at the schedule time, normal thing for the scan schedule. After that, we have scan settings. The best options here is, to be honest, favor low CPU usage over fast scanning. Normally, the scan of the webroot, like the first scan of the device by webroot, is like 1 maybe 2 minutes. After that is like a couple of seconds, to be honest. But if we have like the oldest devices, all the devices, yeah, so like some 1 gig RAM, some old motherboards, some old hard drives, anything like that, and we are scared that the webroot can make problems. It shouldn't, but we are scared. We can choose to favor low CPU usage over fast scanning, so the scan will take more time, but not much more. It will be like, I don't know, maybe from couple of seconds to like 5 minutes, maybe six. It can only scan it can scan the background, so it's not a problem. But we will not use that much of CPU in our scanning. Do you want to scan the archive files? This is one of the most important things, because of course we want to, because everywhere can be problem with the ransomware. And of course, show infected scan results. This option better should be on, so even the user will know that he's infected or not, and what files make this threat. Self-protection, it's just the normal self-protection of webroot. Webroot protect himself from the malwares, a virus, anything like that. The heuristic, if we use as well old USB pen drive, old cardboard, anything like that. Of course, the best explanation here and example is operating system Windows. If you are using Windows 10, we have updates. All vulnerabilities that were found are fixed. But if we are using like Windows 7, Windows 8, maybe Windows Vista, I don't know, the all vulnerabilities that were found in the latest patches, they are not hotfix that good. So we want to protect ourselves from the vulnerabilities that is public. That's not someone find, but that's public. So if we use it like the oldest stuff, we can change from medium to hide or even maximum. But if you are using the newest stuff, we can just default medium or even go to the low. I don't recommend to disable this stuff. After that, we have real-time shield. If you are a company that's working on the files, we save files, editing files, anything like that in a many processes at the minute. The best options here for us is scan files when written or modified to turn off. We will still get the protection from the webroot in a real time, but we won't scan every file that is written or modified on our device, but we will like check the file when he tried to run something. If we like protect, let's see, we have TXT or PDF or docs or exec on our devices. We switch it, save it, switch it, save it, editing, save it, editing, save it. They don't actually do anything in our device. Yeah, they don't run any program, something like that. So the web root won't scan that. If we turn this option off, of course, if we turn this option on, it will scan as well. But if we turn it off, it won't. And let's see in doc we have macro that want to download some ransomware or any other malware from the website. Webroot will notice this action, like you want to try to download something or turn on some application that we download, and then he will take the action. So actually the real time works, but we switch the point when the webroot will take the action, not when the file is written or modified, but when the file tries to run something that he shouldn't. After that, behavior shield. It's a normal behavior shield. I think everyone knows what it does. Code system shield. It's protect our system applications and system running processes. So we know that the ransomware won't like go to the Explorer, Excel, or anything like that, and try to download or change some folders, anything in our environment. Web3 shield. It's nothing more than the add-on to the browser when we can see the reputation for the sites. When you go to the Google, try to search something, we'll see the reputation in three colors. It will be red, it will be yellow, and it will be green. We can of course go to the green, it's a good reputation. The yellow one is neutral reputation, or this is the new site that we don't much know about it. And the red one, of course, bad reputation with the malicious it's a malicious website with maybe some malware on it, maybe some scripts that have a bad reputation. So we can block from here, like block malicious website, and after that, if we turn it on, when we go to the like red reputation site, we won't get access to it because it has bad reputation. Identity shield, it works normally as a protector of our data that we used in the internet, like when we have some, let's see, some scripts in the website, when we give our name, last name, address, etc., and there on this site scripts they want to forward to the third person, like we have strict address from A to B, but the third person C want to get access to it. Webroot will automatically block our data and prevent it from get stealed by the third person. Firewall, we don't have much options here. It's just a normal firewall from the web root. User interface, that's the endpoint customer. So the employee will see the UI of the web root on his device. And system optimizer, just like a CC cleaner, we cleaning the cache, the registry, the recycle bin, etc. Just like the add-on for the web roots. It's if we want to, we can use it, but they don't protect that much. It's just like a bonus. And after that, DNS protection. If we want to use DNS protection or not in our policy, it depends if we have license or not. After that, we create policy or policies, depends on our company. We can go to the group management and choose where we want to use which policy. We can add the policy to the group. We can of course create new group, or we can like let's see. We have a default group which has default policy, and we have like 10 devices here, but one device we want to make another policy. It's no problem. We can, of course, make it to applies policy to endpoints and switch the policy from the default group for this single endpoint to another one. We have normal things to see here, like the first scene, key code, operating system. Is it a virtual machine, my IP address, an internal IP address, my MAC address, where is it in the work group, and which user is actually logged in. Of course, we have some agent commands like the scan the folder, uninstall, reset, remove password protection, system optimizer, some key code to get access to the web root locally. Normal stuff we can do with the agent. After that, we have reports. We can see all the threat scene, all the anti-damage software scene, all the URL blocked, typical stuff with the date range. If we choose, no, in the policy, which one we want to search in the group, which one to search. Of course, we can select the time period, so it won't be a problem, and we will see this actions that were taken in the time schedule. Overrides, we can override file and folders in both ways, so in the whitelist and blacklist, so allow list and block list. But in the web overrides, we can do the allow list only. We can do it the block list from the site console, we can do it from the global console. After that, we have others that we can create it by ourselves. We can choose the other type like threat detection. After that, we have a distribution list. We can configure it here on the right. Right now, it's only default distribution list by the admins. Okay, click next. And after that, we can, to be honest, template the whole mail that we will get. For the easier stuff, we can choose like what is interested for us. Let's see. I want to get IP address. I can just put data and plus IP address, and I will get the template from it. So here will be my IP address, my key code, my policy name, group name, and host name, etc. And I click finish. And if something happened, like the threat detection will get seen in our devices, we'll get automatically informed by mail. In the settings options, we have from which schedule we have the data. We can show all the data from 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, or 1 month. In the logs, it's a normal audit logs when it shows if I log in, log out, I change some policy, I create new policy. This is the normal audit log that will protect us from that will show us that the admin changes were correct and not you want to harm our system. And after that, in the resources, we have 3 options to deploy the webroot. First option, it's a normal exe installer that we click twice on our devices. Second one, in an installer to the background from the command line. And third one is the MSI installers that can be important to the GPO policy and implemented to whole infrastructure of our company at once. Uh, Two additional options, admins. Of course, we want to make admins to our site. As you can see, we have the admins added to our site. If I log into any one of these admins, I will have access to only this site. The extension is the Błażej Długopolski account because I am the global admin console, but I can switch my permission. As you can see, access and permission. I can switch my permission where that I have access. In the groups, I can create and edit, deactivate and reactivate endpoints, assign endpoints. In the policies, of course, create and edit, assign policies to endpoints. The overrides, file and web overrides, to the comments line and to the alerts. So not every admin must have the same the same power to administration our console. And in the download options, we have just a better view for our like download GUI before the endpoint protection. Yes, so this is how the console look like. If you have any question, you can ask them. I will answer them, and I will go back to you, Lucas.
Thank you, Błażej. So I will briefly share my. Oh, sorry, my content is cannot be shared. Wait a second. You probably see my contact. So if you want to be prepared for any kind of attacks from cyber criminals, small organizations or big one, small groups of criminals or big one, you know who to contact. We can show you the advantages of webroot solutions for the big companies and also for the MSPs. And just reach me, Łukasz Niedośpiał, product manager. You have my email address here and phone number. And my co-host Błażej Długopolski will also, if it's necessary, ask him some technical questions directly or through me, and we will gladly help you with open text solutions. Thank you, and thank you for your attendance. Goodbye.